Hello YouTube and newsletter subscribers, this is Terrell from Terrell3.com. Today is August 27th, 2015. This is your Black Star Update Report for volume number 35 of the newsletter. And with the seismic, the volcanic information says is that we are still at outside orbit position. We are at the right triangle position on the summer side of the solar system. And from what the data is saying, I'm looking at some really low values. Let's look at last year. For this time right now, this is week number 30 that we're in right now. This is when we're at outside orbit position. We had about 25 of the 5 magnitude earthquakes, and we had a low value for the 2.5 to 4 magnitude earthquakes. When we go down here where we are this week, this 14 for 5 magnitude earthquakes, that's the lowest. For 5 magnitude and above to have only 14 events, man, you have to really look up the chart. You have to really look up the chart to see where these three columns equal 14 or lower. Good luck. That hasn't happened too many times. We are in the dead of the lull right now. Now, what we should expect looking at next year, looking at the next 4 to 5 weeks, this should be an indicator right here in this chart. And we're seeing definite uptick. This number went from 177 up to 273. With a 247 there in between there, we should see an uptick there. The 25, see a little dip for week 31, but then you're going to be going up to about 40 of these 5 magnitude earthquakes, and then we could see 2, 3, and 4 every week for the 6 magnitude earthquakes. So we should see more of the 6 magnitude earthquakes coming forward. I'm still expecting some type of event out west, but that's not going to happen until Earth core heats up more. And the fact that we had only 4 new volcanic eruptions this week, that means this is the first time in 2 years that we've had back-to-back weekly volcanic values, new volcanic eruptions of 4 or less. This is telling us for sure that we're at outside orbit position, and now we're waiting for the let me show you where we are in the solar system and why this happens. Let's get to the actual time, which is on the 27th, and the black star is just about at that 90-degree angle. We should be just beyond the 90-degree angle. The black star is going to be along this line right here. But we came into alignment over here in April. We were between the two stars. See, now this is what causes the lull. This rush to outside orbit position means the magnetic portal connection between the black star and the Earth is getting longer. Those internal conduits that were activated when we were in close proximity, when at each disconnection and reconnection, then fewer of those internal conduits are active. So that allows Earth core to cool down, and that's the situation that we're seeing right now. Then in this area, whenever the black star, remember, it's coming in this way. So the magnetic portal connection shortens based upon inbound black star velocity. So this Earth change uptick period that comes through here is not as powerful as the one that began back January the 20th. See, in this area, we made the 90-degree angle. Here's the 90-degree angle coming around this way, looking down the solar system. We started moving towards the black star based on Earth orbital velocity, 66,000 miles per hour. So this uptick period is the uptick period of the year, of the whole cycle. Then we have the lull moving away, and now we have this uptick period based on inbound black star velocity. That's the one that's coming up. So if we look at the earthquakes, and we look at just the last day or so, then this is just really not a lot of activity for the last day, telling us that the situation is slow. The scary part, let's look at the depths, how deep they are. The scary part is right in here. Remember how this little swarm, we had this little, it's swarm, this swarm area? Well, now you're seeing where apparently the tectonic plates between the American Craton, the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire, they have been pressed up against the American Craton until the Solomon Island event. The Solomon Island quake event that cracked the tectonic plate in two over here. The cascade began into that direction, and now we're seeing that loosening. Some of this is going to be tectonic, some of this is going to be volcanic, because they're kind of working hand in hand. Whenever you see these deeper quakes, say, yeah, you had an earthquake event, but when it happens, how far? 543 kilometers, 593 kilometers. This is around 600 kilometers deep, almost to the depth of the Japan quake. Took place right after the 7.8 Nepal quake. This started something that's different. This deeper activity is causing the deeper magma down, the really, really concentrated stuff down in the mantle, to you have a big quake event, fissures are created, and then you get that upwelling, you get that percolator effect. Just try to imagine this happening in this flat zone right here, the California quake swarm area. The deepest one there is only 25 kilometers, but everything around it is getting deeper. So the way I characterize this is a wave that has pushed since Nepal, a wave that has pushed this way around the northern side of the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire. It's pushed around this way. Look at the depth of these quakes. This is ridiculous. And then it's still quiet area in here, which makes me wonder if these aren't being reported. But because I expect this to fill in, we already see the deeper quake activity over here on the America side and moving north. So what I see is a wave moving from the north, a wave coming around the south. It has pretty much stalled because we're in the earth change lull period, waiting for the uptick. When the uptick period comes, I'm expecting these quake events to get deeper. Right now they're the deepest ones at 25. Expect that to go more than 100 feet deep. And as you get deeper, that upwelling affects a wider region, and that's what's going to affect these calderas out here and Yellowstone particularly. And all this pressure building up here, this is not just a wave that's coming by. This is two waves that are converging in this area. Looks to me like America is in the crosshairs. Right here, America is in the crosshairs, particularly on this side of the United States. That's what I see coming in September, and that's what Jade Helm is about. So this activity right across here is from Texas all the way to Washington. There's a line that's across there. It's affecting the plates that are pressed up against the American Craton. So now, before we go any further, actually made this video before and didn't mention, I got into talking about this World Reserve currency stuff. Did talk about my heroes for the week. Michael and Lori and Richard are the 3 new subscribers to Terrell's 2015 newsletter. You guys can subscribe right here at terrell03.com. And then Thomas renewed his subscription. He was having some troubles with his PayPal account. Got it hooked back up and got himself renewed his subscription. Thank you very much, Thomas, for doing that. And then Kevin, he's had enough, just like Cecilia last week. At some point, they just have enough. Some people do, and they say, I don't want to do this anymore. So Kevin canceled his subscription. Then just a little reminder that the radio show at the end, this is something else I forgot to mention on the last update, and I want to get it right now, is you see this 8:20 right after the radio show last week. Then, see, I'm recording these radio shows. So when I upload the newsletter before the radio show, obviously this link isn't here yet. After the radio show, I go through, upload that radio show, the MP3, to the Dropbox folder, and then take the link and I include it right here and update the newsletter. So if you download the newsletter, say at 4 o'clock on Thursday, this link isn't here. But when you come back at 7 o'clock that evening and download it again, you're going to see there's a different version of the newsletter, an updated version, and that has this link. So if you download your newsletters on Friday morning, that the Thursday radio show is already there. You do not have to wait for the Revolution Radio archive. That's available a day or two later, something like that. I just want to mention that. So this evening, there should be an 8:27 right here in this recent arrow thingy. Will go over to the right, and that'll be placed right here. So you never have to miss a radio show. Okay, back to the pretty much I gave you what I wanted to share on this part we're still in the lull period, but this right here is getting spooky for me. And this activity here that is getting closer and closer to Hawaii. The deeper stuff that comes closer to Hawaii means that there's a this right here, these events can cause Kilauea to start filling up again. And that I'm expecting it to crest around December the 1st, just like it crested right around April the 25th. It's at the alignment events, and that's going to be the end of the uptick period. At the end of the uptick periods is when Kilauea has been cresting. I expect the pattern to continue, but Kilauea can get really out of hand if this activity continues to get deeper and deeper, and the upwelling is able to spread that far north. So we'll see if that's going to happen here in the future. Then in the newsletter, what I was pointing to before is what's going on in the geopolitical environment. This is House of Rothschild. House of Rothschild controls your media. They're the banksters. They control the world banking system, the chemtrailing. House of Rothschild, if you read my book, Exposing the Cheney-Rumsfeld Black Operation, my 9/11 book, that begins with the House of Rothschild, right? So what they're planning to do is they're manipulating China, and they're actually getting ready to undercut the United States, very much the way the House of Rothschild did that in World War II. The Deutsche Mark got hammered. That's what they're going to do to the US dollar, but they're not ready to do that yet. So this question mark right here, this is going to be China. This is going to be the yuan right here. But the speculation, they came out with an early meeting, and they said, no, we're not going to do it yet. But we're expecting that meeting to be in October, this coming October, after these earth change events, by the way, that are coming. So your hedge against all this stuff is going to be in silver. It's being artificially pushed down. Look for it to be down around $12. I think we're within where we were yesterday. It busted down into the $13 range. It was into the 13s. It's going to continue to do that again. It bounced back up 50 or 60 cents today, but that is going to be going down. And then, I mean, if you buy silver anywhere $15 or anywhere below, you're still doing great, because I expect the bounce to come after these earth changes out west. I think this event could change the world the way that 9/11 changed the world, what's about to happen. So when that happens, then you're going to see people rushing away, pardon me, from the fiat currencies and into commodities like silver. And it's artificially pushed down, much better investment than gold, small denomination for barter later. Always remember to invest in lead and your survival supplies before you try to hedge yourself with silver. Otherwise, you're just going to be saving your stuff for Mad Max. Your supplies is what he's going to be after. So good survival group, and your guns and your ammo to protect your resources. Okay, but silver is going to be one of your primary indicators that you're going to want to watch. And then there's two good articles here. This is Russ's skepticism that was sent to me by Sheldon, and I answer his skepticism here. And then Mike, he's a new subscriber. He was asking some really good questions right here. Lots of good information right here in these first 9 pages for anyone that is not familiar with Project Black Star. If you need more information, go to Terralo3.com. There's an hour and a half of videos there on what Project Black Star is. Then let's see here. I got about a minute left to share with you the Sustainable Earth Conference information, the Russian media, economic collapse in September. A lot of people, September 23rd. It's the convergence of information. And lots of good reason to believe that the stock market is getting ready to get hammered, and based on what's happening historically. And economic downturn, a lot of people are looking at it, but the liars on the TV are making it look like everything is fine when everything is really not fine. It looks like America is being set up for a fall, is the way it looks to me. And so hedge yourself, survival group, and I will see you guys on the next Black Star update report. Remember that your radio links are all right here on the final page. See you guys on the next Black Star update report.